Hello, everyone. In the run-up to our cosmetics and personal care labeling feature, which will be published in the next Labels and Labeling magazine, I'm speaking to Ron Ducharme, Vice President of Business Development at Covectra. Hello, Ron. It's a pleasure to meet you. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. The reason for our call today is to discuss mainly the Aprisa Skincare, one of your recent customers in luxury cosmetics space. Yep. It has successfully implemented your StellarGuard smart label technology. But before we get to that case study, could we perhaps speak a little bit first about the personal care market in general? What do you think are the real counterfeit risks and security threats at the moment?
Well, the counterfeit risks are, I have a perfect example of how that works, what the risks are. In 2018, the Los Angeles police and the FBI did a raid on the Santee Alley fashion district in LA. And in one day, they picked up over $700,000 in counterfeit cosmetics. And their analysis is probably the most alarming part of what was in those products. They found both human and animal waste, bacteria. They also found in there traces of arsenic, beryllium, and cadmium. We all know what arsenic is and how bad that is for you, but beryllium and cadmium are known carcinogens. Mm-hmm. So if you're constantly putting that on your face or on your eyes, sensitive parts of your body, that's an alarming problem. Also, picture people who have allergies. Say you have a nut allergy or you're allergic like I am to shellfish. And the people who have these nefarious products that they're putting out there, they are putting anything in there as already witnessed. So if you have a nut allergy and they're just using some product that contains nuts and you put that on your face, depending on how bad your allergy is to that product, it could take anything from rashes and breakouts to, unfortunately, the worst side of that, which is death. And you've got to be very careful. So the worst part about counterfeit cosmetics is it can be the worst thing in the world for you. It can create some of the biggest damages for you. In the United States, the FDA had over 12,000 cases of issues with a cosmetic causing some type of blemish, rash, or worse since 2018 to 2020. And that's pretty bad. So it's really the ingredients of what these people are putting into it, what the counterfeiters are putting into the product, that are worse than having just a bad counterfeit product.
Right. So from your perspective, what are the technologies available at the moment? And do you actually think that there is one technology that fits them all, or each brand should really seek a bespoke approach and solution for their counterfeit risks?
Well, I'm going to quote one of your articles actually for this answer, where some of the people that you have interviewed have suggested or strongly suggested a layered technology approach to this, a combination of a tamper evident along with another technology, because one, the counterfeiters today are so much more advanced than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago that you need to try to stay ahead of them. I mean, my past experience in the labeling industry, I was developing and helping develop holograms. I was doing the tamper evident products, whether it was a void or a checkerboard, whether it was a frangible film that broke upon removal. We've already done all that. 1982 with the Tylenol scare, that created most of that market that happened. And I hate to say and give away my age, but I lived through that with everybody else creating products for it. So with this, nothing singular is going to work. You've got to combine both an overt and a covert technology, whether it's a frangible film with RFID, whether it's a smart label like our StellarGuard, which has a combination of serialized QR codes with a holographic background. And a hologram is a static image. It's one product over and over and over and over and over again. We put 35 or 25 to 35 holograms in each label, and they're independent. They're totally random technology. And I guess the only way to really get ahead of people who are counterfeiting is to do something random. If it's static, if it's going to be repeatable, like RFID antenna usually are always the same to the same frequency. They're not random. NFC technology, you have to be real close to read it, and they're typically the same. And, although they are great technologies, one of the downsides of RFID or NFC technology is if you go online, you can purchase RFID antennas, you can purchase NFC tags, and you can program them with your cell phone. So if it's that easy to counterfeit something that's being used, you're going to have to put that in conjunction with something else. Now, tamper evident materials, okay, they show you somebody has messed with the product, pre-opened the product, or done something to it. That's a first clue that something is there. But what's going to back up the tamper evidence in the market? So to me, one technology is not going to work. The closest I think that gets to a one technology that could work is our StellarGuard product, which combines 100% random technology with a QR code, a serialized QR code. And I guess the best example is if you had a fistful of pepper, a handful of pepper, and you threw it on a white tablecloth, that pattern that's on the tablecloth is 100% random. That's what our product is. Every single label is going to be different. And I guess the best way to do this and explain is there are over 2 billion people on the globe that use mobile devices. And with that, about 53% of those uses of mobile device will buy something on e-commerce. With our technology, it can be handled by using a simple cell phone scan of the label with the StellaGuard app to determine whether the product is good or bad, whether it is counterfeit or not. And because now you've just hired a police force of 2 billion people that you're not paying for, the cost of technology that's out there, it's a very unique product in the marketplace. So in my opinion, and I believe what's coming is a technology that's both overt and covert, and can be scanned with a simple cell phone, is probably as close to a single technology that can be used. But in that technology is 3 or 4 already wrapped up into it.
You touched very well on sort of end user aspect of this technology, but if I would be a printer or brand owner, that all sounds very complicated. Could you possibly talk us through the StellarGuard technology from that perspective, from brand owner and printer, what adjustments they have to do to use it?
Well, we at Covectra do not print. And I've been in the printing industry now for 38 years, working with all printers globally. And what we have done is selected very specific printing partners, one who have good technology, meaning digital technology. And with the digital technology that's out there, whether it's HP Indigo, whether it's UV inkjet, or whether it's dry toner technology, these labels can be printed, especially it has to be digital. Flexo or screen printing, because they're just static images, static plates rolling and rolling, or a flatbed press, just keep putting out the same thing through a screen. Digital technology can print serialized codes. They can print variations of labels that are going out the door. Now, with that technology, so our first choice was a printer who has the technology and the capability of printing serialized QR codes and turning the data we provide them into that serialized QR code. So that's number one. So from a printer's perspective, it's fairly straightforward technology. Once they have the system in place, they can print what they need to print. The way StellarGuard works is Covectra provides or provisions the serialized numbers to the printer. They print the labels, and then we have a imaging station. And the imaging station takes if you will, a picture of the label itself. And what it does with that label is it takes that serialized QR code, first and foremost. Number two, then it takes an image of the background noise, that random technology that's embedded in the label itself. So it counts the number of holographic flecks. It counts it notes the position of those flecks. And then it makes an image of the color of each one of those flecks. So you've got your overt technology, which is the label itself. It's a very glittery, very fashionable label, number one. But that overt technology that you're looking at is also the covert technology that we're using for information. And then what that imaging station does is it takes that data, puts it up in the cloud. So now those labels are still secure in that they're dead labels until they're re-imaged. So then those are sent to either the printer or to the brand owner. And that brand owner then takes those labels, applies them to whatever part they're going on to, whether it's a high-end shampoo or a high-end skincare product. And all they do is read with a QR code scanner, read the QR code, it verifies it in the cloud and says, I'm a live label. Now it's an active label. And anywhere along the supply chain after that, whether it's a distributor, whether it's the seller, or whether it's the consumer, can scan that label. And the information that's gleaned from that scan, we know where it was sold, who purchased it, and at what time. So who, what, and where of that product is known to the brand owner. And there's only two people or two companies who have access to that data, and that is Covectra in our team and the brand owner in their team. So the system is 100% secure. So that's how the product works. It's fairly simple and straightforward. It sounds confusing, but it's very simple and straightforward.
It must also open the opportunity for brand owners to use these channels. Well, can they actually use these channels for, let's say, marketing purposes as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. The basic dashboard contains who, what, and where. From a brand owner's standpoint, if they want to build additional information into that dashboard, time of day, locations, how it goes through the supply channels, gaining information on what months have the best sales for that product, it's untold information a marketing department can have.
But if we could come back actually to the first reason of our call, if we could talk about Aprisa Skincare, could you tell us a bit more about that case study? What were the challenges there, and how the Covectra helped the brand?
Well, Aprisa, April Jones, who is the owner of the company, has a very high-end, high-quality skincare product. And she developed the product for her own usage and for not a select group of people, but for the people who have those kind of skincare issues. And knowing it's high end, it's high quality, she immediately knew there was going to be issues. So she contacted us, we contacted her, we had a couple of conversations. And what she is doing is, she's small enough, she's a boutique kind of place right now, but she is growing very fast because of the quality of her product. And she knew immediately that her product was a target. It hasn't been yet. So there's no true case study to say that we saved her $80 bazillion or anything like that. But the case study is prevention in this case. And with working with her, I'm glad she understands that this is an issue and it could be an issue. And for a small boutique cosmetic company, and they are popping up all over the place, it's not like some of these large corporations where they can take a hit and have 2 or 3 counterfeit products and then deal with it legally. There are some major companies who spend over $100 million a year in prevention. Or actually trying to attack the people who are doing the counterfeiting. A small company like that can't take the financial hit or the brand image issue because of the limited amount of product or the small amount of volume that they put out that they're trying to live by. And we all know one black eye with something coming through like that That's it. If it's a big company, a black eye, probably never gets heard of again, but a small company like that, news travels fast. And you go back to the old commercial, they tell two friends and they tell two friends, and before you know it, everybody knows what's going on.
That's a very good point, because the damage prevention is extremely important for bespoke brands. They probably have one hit at the market, and if they will not succeed, it will be very hard to recover from that. But the StellarGuard is not only for the personal care product, or how would you position it for the brand owners?
Well, for all brand owners, this can be used in any market. We have interests coming in from the liquor industry, where the World Health Organization has indicated that up to 25% of all liquors sold online are counterfeit. That's pretty dangerous stuff. If you enjoy a bourbon or a scotch where you're from, and you want to make sure that you're buying good product, the high end's a target, and that's a problem. We're getting inquiries from the automotive aftermarket parts issues, where there's a lot of counterfeit product. Toyota did a study, and they found that up to 30% of online sales of automotive parts could be counterfeit. Could be. I didn't like the study myself, because there's a lot more involved in the information that's there, but that's pretty alarming if you've got your family in a car and you're unsure of where the brakes came from. So every industry that's out there, whether it's pharmaceutical, whether it's nutraceutical, whether it's cosmetics, whether it's liquor, every industry is open to this, and there's a benefit to this technology in those industries, because one, it can be linked back to the company's website or back to the company itself. But more importantly, there are limitations on other technologies if they're put onto bottles containing liquids. Some of them need extra insulation. Some of them cannot be used when it comes to a liquid-based product. And this technology doesn't care what it's stuck to. This technology can be used on a box, can be used on a part, can be put onto another label. It can be put onto a liquor bottle or a water bottle. And in those cases, it is still highly functional.
What is the future of a StellarGuard product? Do you think there is an opportunity to expand the services offered? For example, we in Europe, especially now, we talk a lot about greenwashing. There's lots of legislation coming in saying companies now will have to prove the provenance of their goods, the provenance of label, the provenance of paper, throughout the entire supply chain. Is that a functionality which could be also built into StellarGuard?
Yes.
So
we're not there yet. We're not there yet, thank God, because we want to get some stuff behind us. But if we were required to do the green proofing of where the product came from, the field proofing, say for food supply, which is a huge market potential for us, we could program that in. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, and as you say, we are all a 2 billion army of police at the moment. So, so I think the technology such Covectra, StellarGuard will be something what in a few years will be a norm and will be expected in all the products. It was really great speaking to you about the cosmetics, and not only cosmetics, but also practical implementation of Covectra technology. So thank you very much, and please do keep us in the loop for any future case studies and the future implementations. I'll be very interested to connect with you again and talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you want to call, you've got my number, you've got my email address, just give me a call. I could go on forever about a product with this kind of technology. So yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time.
Peter, thank you. Take care of yourself and stay well.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and make sure to click the subscribe button at the top of the screen. You can see more videos from this playlist by clicking the video on the right, or click the video on the left to see all of our other videos.